Hello, hello, so Sick Nash fan back, and this time we are doing the Kouma Kishima beginner's guide. Now this character, very slept on character, very dangerous in the right hands as well. You don't see this character too often in general. Not because the character is necessarily bad, but you definitely have to play a different style than most characters. Since Kouma is a grappler, you're gonna have to have the grappler mindset to play this character. Now in most games, you know, like Zangief or, you know, another grappler in another fighting game, their movement isn't that great, so they're gonna have to struggle to get in. Kouma, while his movement isn't the best in the game, it's still winnable because of the way Melty Blood works. So this character can definitely get in, and you do have shield as an option, so you can always get in at will when you want to. But approaching this character, how you really want to play this character in general is all about conditioning. Conditioning your opponent to block and command grabbing them with whether it be 214A, you can do 214B as well because it has armor. A 214C is more of like, let's say somebody hard commits on your wake up, you can do 214C, but 214C is not an instant super. You can actually jump that super on the flash, so it's not instant. So if you are fighting against Kouma, remember that's not instant, and if you are Kouma, remember that's not an instant super, but it's still good to combo into, and it's good as a respect because it is involved. So if somebody hard commits on your wake up, you can actually snag them. But conditioning is a huge part of Kouma's game, just like any other grappler. When it comes to the aerial approach of this character, any move which is unique to this character, like anytime you press a button and you try to, like, you know, some characters like Arcuate may do JCJBJA or JAJB, whatever, like in a sequence. You cannot do that with Kouma. Kouma, when you press a button in the air and you press another button, it auto throws and it'll throw them to the ground and you get Oki. So the aerial game is definitely different than most characters in Melty Blood. PCL is like that too. When you press another button, they activate a throw animation. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that their aerial game is bad, but it's different because you can actually still confirm if you do hit a button. Like if you do a JB or something, you can still confirm. It's possible. Let's see if I can do it. This one, this confirm, especially not being a Kouma player, isn't the easiest. There we go. We got it though. Once you get used to that confirm though, that would be how you would get people out of the air and have them respect your aerial confirms, because he can still confirm you. You just have to do a different route and use a moon skill at that. One important thing to note, I'm gonna say this so everyone is aware, that when you play Kouma, you do not, I repeat, you do not have to go ham. Like, you can actually play this character pretty slow and thoughtful versus, you know, go ham, put on armor and just go nuts. Like, you don't actually have to approach the character like that. You could approach the character a lot more slow, because at the end of the day, this character does have armor 22C. You win neutral for a couple of seconds, like around like probably 4 or 5-ish seconds. You win neutral, so your opponent is probably going to start running away from you. Now there are things that beat the armor, like EX moves beat the armor. By EX moves, I mean supers. Shield follow-ups do also beat the armor. Throw will also beat the armor. So there's a couple options that can crank the armor, but you just have to understand that you do win neutral for a couple seconds, so you can force the issue. You can definitely force the issue and make the opponent afraid to approach you, because generally when you armor up, people run away from you. Now with that being said, Kouma does have a few tricks up his sleeve. His JC is really good. As y'all know, you've probably played net play and you've ran into Koumas that JC you over and over again because it has armor, especially at the beginning of the game. That was very popular. But this character can also fake the JC and like go for command grab setups. So you can play around with like charging the JC low and like faking it out and going low. Like this character has a couple of different options in that regard to fake out the JC. Now up here, Kouma really doesn't have good air normals, so JC is what you're probably going to rely on when it comes to aerial approach, beyond like maybe hitting somebody out of the air with a JA or a JB. But all of his normals in the air are horizontal. JA, JB, JC is the only angled button in the air, so that'll be for more of an approach from you coming air to ground. Will be that will be more relevant than pressing A and B. You'll probably be pressing JC a lot more. Now, this character does have one of the, if not the best 3C in the game. Like this move right here is like one of the best moves in the game. Look at the range on this 3C. Like this 3C is actually insane. And it doesn't matter that you press it, because at the end of the day, you can always Rekka after and make yourself like safe. Just like that. So pressing 3C in neutral is actually pretty devastating. I didn't know how good it was until I fought Lucy. Shout outs to Lucy. Probably our best in a Kouma, actually. She presses 3C in neutral and it showed me the way, because this move is actually pretty insane and it can anti-air. But when you feel like somebody's gonna run at you, you could definitely press this normal and get a pretty good combo. Pretty much the combo that I showed you can get. And this is just a basic combo. You can actually command grab off of that. Let's do this route. Like that. That's more simple. Kouma can get more damage off of that, but that's just a basic route that I'm showing you the possibilities of what the character can do off of that. But 3C is actually pretty goated. It's a very, very strong move to use with Kouma. Also, with this character, also, moon skill wise, this character's moon skills are pretty insane. Right there, you have a lunge and command grab, 6 BC. That ender is an overhead. It took me the longest to start blocking that, but you can actually like whiff punish people and go into 6 BC. Like that is an actual thing. I don't know if that combo is possible. It might be. It might actually be. Yep, it is possible. Cool. So that is like your main primary whiff punish. If you have a moon skill, like you can definitely burn the moon skill. I don't see too many Koumas doing that consistently, but I think that that's like very good if you do that. Like something like that, because this character can actually play very solid whiff punishment game with 2C. The 2C is really good. 3C is really good. 5B is a solid poke outside of range. 5C is definitely good as well, but 5C is going to be used in a different manner, and the manner that 5C is going to be used is you can actually yoke somebody with armor. Now, you would think that that's a command grab, right? But it's actually unblockable. How like Shiki and Arcuate have those standing unblockables with 5C charge. That is basically what it is. It's a 5C charge unblockable. So 5C charge unblockable snags you and throws you backwards. However, if you are in the corner, it can bounce you off the wall and give you a combo, which is pretty nifty. So if your back is ever on the wall, 5C is probably like the most dangerous. But like right about here, something like that. Very simple. If your back is against the wall, 5C charge is the most dangerous because you get a full combo route. And it puts you in a situation where you're afraid of it, and then from that situation you basically have to guess. But you can stand shielded, just like I told you. It is unblockable, just like Arcuate and Shiki. So you can actually stand shield it. And I didn't know that for the longest. I used to think it was a command grab, but you can actually stand shield that. So make sure you are actually stand shielding that, because that is very, very important as Kouma. Honestly, the mind games that you are going to play with Kouma are all going to come down to stagger pressure on block and or command grab, and just threatening that command grab, because this character's rebeats are actually like pretty solid. If you press CA, let's do C like that, 5C, 2C, 2A, or 5A, and you're right back in neutral, and in a situation that you can actually like whiff punish. As you saw, like the spacing was perfect right there. This character can always stagger Rekka pressure, and the ender of the Rekka is an overhead, so your opponent always has to respect the ender of that. They always have to respect the ender. So when you're playing Kouma, you can actually just do Rekka nothing, Rekka nothing, Rekka nothing, and then just sneak in that overhead at the end and try to fish for a counter hit, because you might be able to hit them, because they might actually, you know, swing a button. And right there, the swing right there, same thing. You want to put in those added delays into the Rekka pressure, so you can actually hit the opponent for trying to move. And same concept, if they might try to shield the ender, and then you could just go for, you know, a low starter, a 2C starter, because this character 2C starter actually hurts. So all in all, when you are trying to approach Kouma and play with Kouma, you just need to understand that you have to have the grappler mentality. Your opponent is more afraid of you than anything, so use that to your advantage. You don't have to chase necessarily. With this character, you can actually kind of just play really slow and really thoughtful, and counter what your opponent likes to do, because like I said, at the end of the day, this character does win neutral off of 2-2C for a couple of seconds. So your opponent is going to always be a little more afraid of you than the opposite, and you just have to utilize all of your tools. While this character might not, like I said, be the fastest, this character has a lot of respect and does a lot of damage when you add in the layers of frame traps and command grab threat. Hopefully this Kouma Kishima beginner's guide can help those who are looking into picking up Kouma. I would say the most important thing to focus on is conditioning your opponent, and from there you will start to rack up the W's.